Hello, good afternoon. Let's see the severe weather for today. So they have a slight risk in parts of North Dakota, northeastern Montana, and Minnesota, and there in the Midwest, parts of Iowa, Illinois, Wisconsin, Indiana, Ohio, and parts of southern Michigan. And this big marginal risk all the way from northern Montana to Pennsylvania, like westernmost New York. So there's this other marginal risk in Arizona there. So let's see. The tornado threat is 2%, one in the slight risk there in parts of the Ohio Valley and Midwest, and another 2% in Montana and North Dakota. But always be aware outside of those areas too. Let's see, the wind threat is 5% in Arizona, 15% in the slight, and 5% in the marginal. The hail threat is just 15% in North Dakota, and a hatched area for 2-inch plus hail possible in northeastern Montana too, and a 5% from northern Montana to Ohio. Let's see. Strong severe thunderstorms are expected from the northern plains into the upper Midwest and Ohio Valley. So be aware. Let's see what they say for now. One or more clusters of severe thunderstorms may develop over the region this afternoon or tonight, with potential for severe gusts. This includes the possibility of significant 65 knot plus gusts. However, confidence has decreased in placement or timing of any specific significant gust area. The air mass in and around one from the previous outlook has been directly and substantially overturned by a large and significant severe MCS overnight. So be aware. So let's see what else here. Wait, Northern Plains. No, I already said. Let's see. Synopsis. Upper Mississippi Valley into the lower Great Lakes. This outlook area covers potential MCS severe episodes. Should a considerable uncertainty remains, which one may become more dominant in terms of local report distribution. Skeletal remnants of an early MCS with remaining convection non-severe nature was apparent over portions of northwestern Ohio, northern Indiana, lower Michigan. So the alpha boundary of this activity was drawn across Indiana, Illinois, and Iowa, and near the Laugh and Math-CI line, where it was overtaken west by penetrating air mass stabilizing by the early activity, but ongoing modification for the low-level warm moist convection as this complex or its associated outflow arc moves southeastward into the less modified, strongly diurnal heated boundary layer near north of the oldest outflow boundary. Additional strengthening appears increasingly probable, with damaging to severe gusts the main concern. So regardless of how severe becomes later, the ongoing complex in turn should continue to deposit outflow across northern Illinois and eastern Iowa, reinforcing the baroclinic zonal in the region, with some northeastward shift possible through the day amid modest but steady low-level warm advection. So let's see. So as with its predecessors, and any such complex should move parallel to, mainly along the north residual outflow boundary and generally with the mid-upper level flow, offering damaging gusts and isolated large hail. So be aware. Let's see. So you can read the rest if you want, but it's a lot. I want to focus on the other forecasts there. So here for Arizona too. Let's see. Locally isolated severe gusts are possible from the most vigorous cells. BOL some heavy rain too, flash flooding, and let's see. And they have no hail threat there, but you never know, just the damaging wind threat. So let's see for the next few days. Wait, here, so it's a slight risk for tomorrow. So this is for day 2, yes. A marginal in Arizona and New Mexico, and a slight from parts of Iowa, Minnesota, Illinois, Indiana, and Michigan, and Wisconsin. So let's see. And this marginal from Wyoming to New York. So let's see. Tornado threat is 2% from Iowa to Michigan. Wind threat is 15% and 5% in Arizona. And hail is just a small 5% there. So be aware tomorrow. Strong to severe thunderstorms are possible from the upper Midwest into the mid-Mississippi Valley and upper Great Lakes region on Monday. Isolated severe thunderstorms are possible across parts of the Central Plains as well as the south, central, southeast Arizona. So be aware for tomorrow. For Tuesday, there's a big marginal all the way from parts of Wyoming and Colorado all the way into Maine. So a big area. Probabilistic 5%. Let's see, strong to severe thunderstorms are possible from the Central Plains across the Mississippi Valley and Ohio Valley into the Northeast on Tuesday. So be aware there. And days 4 through 8, there's nothing yet. And the fire threat today is isolated dry thunderstorms in many areas of the West and the elevated fire threat in Washington and Oregon. For tomorrow, there's only an area for isolated dry thunderstorms possible. So be aware. And here's the map for today. Let's see. Day 2, day 3. So precipitation for today here in Florida, parts of the Ohio Valley, the plains. Let's see, day 2, more across near the Great Lakes, Midwest and Southeast and Southwest, Northeast. Day 3, more in those central areas, all the way from parts of Colorado into the Northeast, some in Florida and the Southwest too. And day 4, is a lot in the plains. It shows more in the Northeast and other areas. Day 5 shows a lot on the East Coast. Day 6, still some in the Southeast there. Day 7, more in the West and Southeast. Days 1 through 7 shows a lot in the East, in those Midwest areas, and the Southwest in Florida. So be aware. Excessive rains are small slight in Illinois and Indiana today, and this marginal down there too. For tomorrow, slight in parts of the Midwest and this marginal, and these 2 marginals in the Southwest. Be aware. Day 3 is 2 slights in parts of Missouri, Illinois and Ohio, and Pennsylvania and Indiana, and this marginal from Arizona to Vermont. And day 4 is a marginal all the way from Arizona to Maine, and day 5 is a marginal parts of the mid-south and east coast and the southwest. So let's see what else. And what I said for today here, that I read the description there, this might change later because the new model runs come out all the time, and all of this might change. So just be aware of that and find a way to stay updated. But of course, there are like major updates, like an enhanced risk or something. We'll probably do another video. but I don't expect that today. So let's see uh, the temperatures. So it's very high for today. 104, 106 in parts of the plains, 90s through Texas, 100s, even 100s in South Carolina and Tennessee, more 90s all the way into Maine, 111, 108, and these are only the maximum temperatures. Of course, it won't be this hot during the whole day. These are only the maximum temperatures. So let's see. For tomorrow, still so 109 even in Kansas. Oh my gosh, please be careful there with the heat. And it's in the 90s and 100 parts of the east and south, and the southwest 100 still and 90s. For day 3, I think it's Tuesday, so some 70s in the north and east, some 100s in the plains still, in the south and east 100s and 90s, and 90s and 100s in the southwest and west there. Day 4 for Wednesday, let's see, some 100s in the west, in the southwest very hot, some 100s in Texas still, and 90s through the southeast and northeast. Day 5, let's see, some 90s in Montana, 100s in the southwest and other areas, more 70s and 80s in the Midwest and northern plains, 90s in the south and east. Day 6, let's see, 100s in the southwest still up to 114, some 90s and 100s all throughout the west, 90s in Montana, some 70s and 80s in the Midwest, and 90s in the south. So let's see, day 7, some 100s in the southwest, and all the way north into Idaho and Washington, so 90s there, and 90s in the south in some areas. So be aware. Stay cool and hydrated. And this is the max wind gust for today only. So I think this doesn't take into account the wind gusts inside the thunderstorms. So if you're in the severe weather area, these winds might be stronger. So let's see, shows it windier parts of the Rockies there, in the Cascades too, in parts of the southwest and Arizona too, maybe in the plains, yeah. So this valid until tomorrow at 11 a.m. Let's see here. The the hazards, this change all the time too, but let's see. Some excessive heat watches in parts of the East Coast, heat advisories in the Southeast, heat warnings in parts of Nebraska and Iowa, some heat advisories too in other areas, and red flag warnings all throughout the West there, and excessive heat warnings and air quality. So some high surf advisories in Hawaii, and flood watches in southern Alaska and some other areas. So let's now see the severe weather outlook for Canada. So they have the thunderstorm forecast. So in the orange is severe possible, and the yellow is just general risk of thunderstorms. So for central Canada, so they say some severe possible from southern Alberta to southern Saskatchewan and parts of Manitoba. So be aware, some heavy rain, gusty winds, and large hail, and we even had a tornado warning there yesterday. So they have here some timing, mainly by this afternoon and evening, the greatest threat, and the greatest risk for supercells is in parts of southwestern Manitoba there, and maybe some other areas too. So be aware this afternoon and evening, warn others there. And then for the west into Alberta here, they have severe storms possible. I think these parts of of central southern Alberta, more southern Alberta. This by 4 p.m., so by this afternoon. And here, by 8 p.m. tonight, they have the greatest risk of supercells in parts of southern Saskatchewan and going to Montana there, and central southern Saskatchewan, and some more storms there. So be aware the supercell risk there too. And this is just a general risk of thunderstorms in parts of Newfoundland, northern Nova Scotia, and some other areas. So just a general risk of thunderstorms, be aware. And for Quebec and Ontario, by 4 p.m. this afternoon, they have probably the chance of a line of storms in Quebec there, but probably won't be very severe, but be aware. But the greatest severe risk in southern Ontario there, or that other line of storms will be moving there, so be aware. And then the thunderstorm forecast for those areas: severe possible in parts of Ontario, going to southern Ontario, parts of western Quebec, and the general risk of thunderstorms in other parts of Ontario and Quebec there into Atlantic Canada. So be aware. Let's see now the latest model here. What it has. So we already had storms in parts of the Midwest as we woke up today, and some showers in Canada. Then let's see. It shows there for Quebec those storms moving there, but nothing big, just some afternoon thunderstorms and showers there. But you saw the other forecast, so be aware in case of any strong storms there, but nothing big. For Ontario, we have that low pressure, some storms firing along the low pressure. Those might be stronger and even severe by the looks of this. And then they keep moving through Ontario into western Quebec later and dissipate. So, and this model has maybe some stronger storms in southern Ontario and other areas there, but it doesn't have anything big. But be aware too. Let's see. It has this afternoon there forming Saskatchewan, southern Saskatchewan, some strong storms, very strong storms, and those radar signatures there could be some severe storms. Parts of northern North Dakota, southern Manitoba, southern Saskatchewan, and then this line moves there into North Dakota, continuing through southern Saskatchewan until like tomorrow morning. So like 8 Cs is tomorrow morning, I think. So be aware. So it's just like they said there, the supercell risk. So let's see for the rest. It doesn't have much in Alberta there, but I think there will be some storms. So because southern Alberta is under the severe threat there, so be aware too. And let's see for the U.S. So we might get these storms to form in Iowa and Wisconsin today and form that damaging line and moving to Illinois and even into Chicago there and Indiana later by this afternoon and evening. So this is by 2Z Monday. It's around like 5, 6, I think, in the evening. And then this by 4Z, so by nightfall, I think. So let's see. And then it moves there later. So be aware of those storms. In the southwest, we get a lot of monsoon showers and some thunderstorms in Arizona. They have the wind threat there, so be aware. With heavy rain too and other stuff. In Mexico, they have some storms too. And let's see, some more showers in other areas. So be aware. Let's see. In Florida, shows many thunderstorms possible this afternoon. Be aware as well. And let's see what else here. So let's see some cape here, because it's very hot and everything. That makes even more instability. So by this afternoon and evening, it shows like some areas more than 5,000 joules per kilogram of cape in Iowa and Minnesota there. But the main storm threat will be in Wisconsin and Illinois, I think. But that there will be tremendous cape there as well. The marginal slight risk extends to those areas too. So be aware there. In Illinois, in those areas, like 2,000, 3,000 joules per kilogram. In Indiana, a little bit more. And southern Illinois, a little bit more. Let's see, but that's insane there. So if any storm goes there, you have plenty to eat. So it might become very severe. So please be aware. And some 3,000 joules in parts of South Dakota, and North Dakota here is a little bit less, around 1,000 joules per kilogram, further south 2,000, and Manitoba is just around 800, southern Saskatchewan around 1,000, 900 in parts southern Alberta, and eastern Montana is around 1,000 there, or maybe more. So be aware. Let's see the other things here. The dew points around that time. So it shows, why is this in Celsius again here? So it shows around 77 dew points into the 70s in Iowa and Minnesota. Southern Illinois, like central Illinois and Indiana, shows into the 70s, but northern Illinois shows like 72 dew points. And ignore these numbers under the seas, because those are the temperatures, not the dew points. So focus on this. In Wisconsin shows even into the 70s possible. And let's see what the HER has. So that was the euro. So this is the HER now. So the HER has even some 76 dew points in Wisconsin, Illinois, into the 70s too. Some 70s in Iowa, Minnesota, in Indiana there. So be aware of the severe storms and everything, and stay safe.